Hi everybody, it's me, Corey T, and today I want to talk about manifesting money, because manifesting money is how I got into manifesting in the first place. And there's so many things to talk about and so many stories that I can share with you about how my self-concept with money changed, and it completely changed my life. So just to give you some context, I was the one in the family who spent all my pocket money when I was a kid and didn't save any. And so when I was 18, my brother had loads of savings and I had nothing. And that was my feedback that I got from my family. So my family would always say to me, oh, she always spends money. She always spends money. She never saves any like her brother. So I gained this self-concept, which was I'm not good with money. I never save any money. Money just goes. I don't have any. And I also didn't grow up in a family that was particularly well off, right? So I had my mum, who was a single mum. She struggled, and money was always hard to come by. It felt like that's how we lived, you know. It felt like there was never enough to go around. So I think I then, gained these beliefs about money. Like, money's hard to get. I don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. There's not enough to go around. Those were my beliefs about money. And so in my adult years, it turned into me spending as soon as I got it. As soon as I got money, I would just spend it. And it would be really hard to get again. That's just how it was. So when I was at university, I was always borrowing money from family, and I was the borrower. I was the one who borrowed money. And that was just the way my family saw me. It was the way I saw myself. And so money was always a difficult thing to find. And so I was always working in jobs that I didn't like, and I'd work in any job to just get some more money, and then it would just go. So life was like just being on a treadmill. I worked in like so many retail shops, which I hated, and I worked in so many jobs that I just dreaded going to. Then something happened, which was I came across The Secret. So you've probably heard of The Secret, which is all about the way that we think and how that creates our reality. Thoughts create, that's where it begins, right? So you come across The Secret and everything changes. That is what happened to me. So I read The Secret and things started to shift in my mentality. And after that, someone gave me Think and Grow Rich, which really got me deeper into manifesting. And I didn't realise it at the time, but that's what was happening. I was really learning about how our thoughts create, about persistence. So in Think and Grow Rich, there's lots of stories about very successful entrepreneurs who persisted despite the circumstances, who had their eye on a prize, and they just kept going until they got what they wanted. They saw the riches in their mind. They saw themselves as that person who had those riches, and they embodied that person who had those riches and was that person. So that was something that was a seed that was planted in my mind, and I started doing those things. I started thinking of myself as I'm a millionaire. I still think of myself as a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire, by the way, right now, but I do believe that I actually am, and that that's what's coming to me, and it really feels like that's true. And ever since I started doing that, I found that money started coming to me in very surprising ways. I remember really clearly, I remember putting a check on my wall in a vision board that I created. And I put it on there, and it said £25,000 on it, which was just an amount of money that I had never even seen ever in my life. I'd never seen my family or my mum or my dad have that much money. In the grand scheme of things, £25,000 is not that much, but it was a hell of a lot to me. And so I started imagining that that's what I had in my bank account, and it was just always there. And then, I carried on with these beliefs like I'm a millionaire, money comes to me easily and freely. I got a pay rise at my job in Australia, and I, was given money randomly. I was receiving refunds for things that I didn't know that I needed to be refunded for, and all sorts of things started happening. So I started believing this more and more. So about a year later, I'd been doing all of these thought processes, and I'd been, thinking that I was a millionaire, that money comes to me easily and freely in so many different directions, in unexpected ways. And I was really thinking this could work, maybe this will work. And absolutely out of the blue, someone gave me a check for £25,000, and I kid you not, that actually happened. And it was a gift from someone that I knew. And no, obviously still know them because I'm incredibly grateful that happened. I just was gobsmacked And I'd literally forgotten about the vision board that I'd done and the check that I'd put on my wall. And I found it about, a few months later, and my jaw dropped. I was like, there's the check that I wrote for myself for £25,000, and now I have £25,000 in my bank. It was crazy. So what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to say this to you to inspire you to do the same thing. Start thinking of yourself as someone who has money. Start thinking of yourself as someone who receives money easily, even if that's not true, because it definitely was not true for me. Really, truly, it just wasn't the case in my 3D. But as I started doing this, my favorite affirmations for money are: money comes to me easily and freely. Money comes to me in all different directions. I'm a money magnet. Money loves me. Money finds unique and surprising ways to find me, right? So money wants me. Those are affirmations that I say to myself whenever I want, whenever I think about it. And now I believe it's true. And, that's an example of how over time, as you repeat these affirmations, they start to become true. And then you see the evidence of it, and then you just believe it more and more. And then it just becomes like your reality. So I'd really encourage you to start saying positive affirmations to yourself about money, just when you feel like it, when you remember. Just do it, okay? And just see what happens and let me know. The other thing that I realised is that part of my problem that I had with money was my relationship to money and love. I know that sounds really strange, but let me explain. So when I was growing up, my dad wasn't around, and the way that he would show me love was to buy me things, take me and my brother on trips, do things like that. And, it seemed like he was showing me love with money. And I used to just spend it. And I think part of the reason why I did that was because on some unconscious level, I felt like if I had money, then my dad maybe wouldn't give me that love, you see. So it was like a really deep-rooted fear I had of having money, because if I had money, then no one would love me in that way that I perceived love to be as a child, receiving gifts. It was my love language. So I had to become aware of that in order to change it, to be able to see that, I'm loved whether I get money or not. I'm loved with or without money. I'm loved no matter what. I am love, and I don't need money to prove that I am lovable, right? So I really clearly remember sitting on the beach in Australia and having an argument with my dad about how bad I was with money, and he was trying to get me to think about money differently. And I remember having this conversation with him and explaining that I felt like the way that I perceived money was like it was love, and that if I had money, that I wouldn't get love, I wouldn't be saved, no one would come to rescue me. If I had money, no one would come to love me with this, love language that I'd perceived it to be. So then he said to me, oh my God, you're right. And I just need you to know that I have always loved you, and I always will, with or without money. And that was an amazing shift for me to hear. My inner child got a lot of healing from that conversation. But then what he did was he said, okay, I won't give you any money anymore, and you can just know that I love you no matter what, and you can build that trust with me. And I thought, no, what have I done? I've shot myself in the foot here. But it's true, it did help me to realise that he does love me whether or not he gives me money. And our relationship grew stronger because of that, and my relationship to money grew stronger because of that too. So you might have stories that you've been telling yourself that are related to money that have been formed through your childhood, and it's worth exploring those things, because then you can see how you are behaving with money in relation to how you grew up with money. What did it feel like? So ask yourself some questions. What was it like for me and my family when I was growing up? Was it easy? Was it comfortable? Was it difficult? And that's when you can start shifting those beliefs by seeing what they might be. So it might take a bit of digging. It might take a bit of, experimenting with how things feel. So I'd really recommend having a look at your childhood and your upbringing, or even your teenage years, and seeing what you can find about the stories that may have been created about money, and seeing if you can unravel some of those so that you can start putting in new beliefs. So what I did was, before I even knew what my beliefs about money were, I started telling myself money comes to me easily and freely, and then I just got on with my life. I just got on with my day. I made it something that was just a new thing that I started saying to myself, and I didn't know what was going to happen with that. But then, you know, because I was less attached to it, I suppose, than a relationship, money did start coming to me a lot easier. So try it and let me know how you get on, and give it some time. You know, these things can take time sometimes, but they can also happen very, very quickly. If you start telling yourself these things and start just kind of like saying them as you're walking along, as you're going to sleep, whenever you want, whenever you feel like it, and you just kind of let it go, have fun with it, let me know how quickly money starts showing up, even if it's just a little bit more. Another thing that you can do, that I do, that's quite funny, and Johnny laughs at me when I do this, whenever I pay for something, I go, bye money, see you again soon. And I say thank you, because I'm grateful that I've had money. I'm grateful that I've got money to be able to spend in the first place. I'm grateful for the money, therefore more of it comes to me. And I know that it's going to come back. Money always comes back around. It's just something that is always flowing, always moving around. So therefore you don't have that guilt about spending money, because you know it's going to come back. So bye money, see you again soon, thank you. I always do that, and it's just a fun way of parting with money in a way that you know, okay, it's going to come back, so I don't need to worry about spending this right now. It will come back and more. So let me know how you get on with this and have fun with it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.